Disco Ball Converse by A.R. Eldridge. He picked up the witch about 5 miles north of the pentameter turnoff. She was pretty, with golden hair and big deer in the headlights' eyes, but he could tell. You could always tell. She had a short skirt, a red parka, and sparkly disco ball Converse. They glinted in the dying light as she walked towards the pickup. She was carrying a broomstick, one of the old-style straw ones. His mouth curled in distaste. The big silver pickup truck pulled over and she walked round to the back, dumping the broom in the tray. Then she scrambled into the passenger's side. "Thanks," she said with a breathlessness that seemed engineered to convey innocence. "Just as close as Bristol Forge as you're going. Boy, am I glad you showed up. I'm freaking freezing." She pulled her parka tighter around her and shivered. The man merely nodded. They drove the next mile in silence. Finally, she said, "So, do you live around here?" "Nope," he said. His drawl was as low and flat as his pickup's tray. "Targus, actually. Just passing through." "Oh," she said, and he couldn't tell whether her tone was one of relief or disappointment. "You're Arcana, ain't you?" The question was phrased as a statement. "Yeah," she blushed. "They chase you out onto the interstate?" "Sort of." She was hesitant now, not sure exactly what he wanted. "There was a Galvafluke breakout in Midtown. They thought I'd cast a pox. I didn't," she stammered quickly. "It was just, population density. Actually, I was giving out salves and putting up wards all over town, but when people see you casting, they kind of assume the worst." She trailed off. "I seen it," he said tonelessly. "My ma was a spellgraft, and she caught hell for it. So did I at school. Lost my shoes over the telephone wires a couple times. She was just doing the best she could. We never blamed her none for what she was." The little witch seemed to relax a bit. "Yeah, people can be very prejudiced. They don't always realize we're assigned. It's a little helter-skelter that way. A new witch in town is always a source of concern, and if you don't make a marked improvement to the livelihood of the town life over a very short period, better harvest, less childhood fatalities." "I'm sorry, I'm blathering," she giggled. No, he said, not managing to muster much real enthusiasm, but at least making a show of the attempt. "I am deeply interested in the plight of your people." She seemed to think that was funny. That was good. Keep her talking. "I'm headed all the way up the interstate," he said. "Anywhere specific you want me to drop you off?" "Just 5 miles north along to Bristol Forge. I know of a commune on the way there, and I'm sure will let me stay the night." He grunted. "Coven," he thought to himself. "You mean coven." Then an idea occurred to him. I got this canker sore on my big toe. Give me hell when I drive for long stretches. You don't think you could..." She laughed nervously. "I can't really do it on, a whim. There's a procedure, like a ritual." "Huh," he said. "I just thought, seeing as I did pick you up and all, unless there's some other way you want to make it up." He grinned without looking at her, his lips curling back to display a gangrenous green canine. She grimaced. "Sure, yeah, I can make you something. I'll need some elderberry root, though." Elderberry. Always friggin' elderberry. You'd think if it was so important to all their damn spells they'd keep it on their person. "Yeah," he said. "All right. There's a rest stop just off the right some. We can pull in there for it. You can, forage and whatnot." She smiled weakly and nodded. Even with an image spell in her, she couldn't be more than 25. Looked far closer to 19. It made him sick how they infantilized themselves. Creepy. The pickup pulled over. He looked at the witch. She seemed to be having difficulty making eye contact. "Pretty sure there's some elderberry bushes just over there in that clearing." She opened the door and hopped out. Once she'd closed the door, he picked up his CB radio. 5019 Alpha Charlie, I got a pretty birdie coming your way." "Roger that, Echo Delta. Approaching for intercept." He turned lazily to look for the witch. She wasn't there. He leaned out the window in agitation. Damn it, where had she gone? He heard a rattling sound at the back. What by Baal was she doing? Then there was a whooshing sound, and a flash of something rushed over the hood of the pickup and into the fading evening. "Jesus, Mary and Joseph on a spit!" he yelled, and scrambled out of the pickup. Ollie was waddling up out of the bushes, rope in hand. "Well, hails, Dave, why'd you let her get to her broom?" Ollie panted, clearly winded from the walk. I didn't know she was going to use a stick," he protested, but the big man was shaking his head in disgust. "Dave, you had one freaking job. Why didn't you just keep her in the cab? She couldn't have weighed more than 100 pounds, little thing like that. I thought, I'm not paying you to think, Dave. You gotta be tighter with your game. Damn it, man, we had the goddamn fire going and everything. Jesus. Ollie bent his head in fury and stalked off. Dave looked off into the distance. He thought he could just make out the twinkle of the girl's disco ball Converse among the blanket of stars.